And we are recording. So good morning. Good evening, everybody. We're ready to rock and roll here. And Jeff, thanks for bringing me on. I apologize for being a little bit late. Matter of fact, I apologize a lot for being late because it looks like I came in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes too late. And it's because I was working on this crazy slide presentation, and it kind of started consuming my time, as it were. I don't know if that ever happens to you guys, but sometimes I'm in the computer and time goes away, and all of a sudden somebody says, hey, you're supposed to be on the call at 5 o'clock, and I hadn't even thought about it for 30 minutes. So here's what we're doing, and we're doing this for various reasons. And one of them is to attract people to us who are in the business of flipping properties. Now, it'll probably accomplish more than that, and I can get it out to you guys too, but it's going to be on our website, and it's going to be aimed primarily at flippers. You know, these guys that do flipping Las Vegas and flipping Chicago and flipping off the president and whatever it is they're making a lot of money, and their programs work. The only thing is, their programs, and many of you already know this, their programs will work if you've got plenty of money to go out and pay cash for properties, or if you can work with somebody who's got the money to do it and partner and so on. Well, we're in the same situation. In our program, you can go out and do the same thing if you've got money to partner with somebody and what have you. Now, I am in the process now of acquiring real estate, and I'm trying to stick as close to Henderson, Nevada as possible, but if there's somebody on the line right now who may have $5,000 or $10,000, $15,000, and you want to partner with me on one of these properties after you've looked it over and what have you, what I want to do is get into the property, take the whatever money you can come in with, and then you and I go 50-50 on the property, and we have somebody else in it making the payments and so on, and then you and I would approve them in terms of the money that they have up front, and hopefully we can get most of your, if not all of your money back right away by when they come in. Because if the property, let's say, is worth a couple $100,000 and it's $10,000 over encumbered, let's say, well, that wouldn't work. I mean, that wouldn't come across, because in those I just take them, I don't need your money. But in one that's got a little bit of equity and so on, and you come in, what we try to do is have our resident beneficiary come in with enough money to repay us, you, whatever you'd put into it. And that's what this slide presentation is going to try to address, kind of at an angle. So bear with me, and don't hesitate if you've got a question. Well, let's see, right now with the full screen, I don't know if I would know that you have a question. Huh. No, we'll worry about that. I won't spend a lot of time. We'll cut off now and then and get into questions and concerns and then go back to it. So let's start right here. Why on earth would anyone, especially, why are you walking away from all of those beautiful properties that you can make millions on, but which just don't fit the flipping scenario? So here's the deal. Let me get this up. I should hit that first. So here's the deal. You wanted to do a flip, but you can't because the owner has too little equity in the property to allow for a bargain. Well, that happens all the time, because, we work with some of the people who are working with the flipping people and all that, and it's just such a shame because these people don't know what to do when they come across the property that they can't get for 60 cents on the dollar or 70% maybe after repair value. And it just breaks my heart because I want all of those properties. If you come across something that you can't get for 60 cents on the dollar and it's going to take 100 cents on the dollar or 115 cents on the dollar, I'll take it. And the reason is because I know that I can get somebody in it who doesn't care about the over encumbrance as long as the payments are affordable and as long as it's really a nice house and it's better than what you could ever have otherwise. And we'll let future appreciation take care of whatever that over encumbrance might be over some period of time. So you wanted to do a flip, but you can't because the owner has too little equity in the property to allow for a bargain. The seller will just give the property to you, but it's got a big loan on it. A short sale and loan mod were attempted, but they failed, and the owner wants to avoid foreclosure, and the lender won't accept a deed in lieu of foreclosure. So just some of what we can do for you is this. We teach you that some of what we can teach you that you don't already know, and for sure what your competition doesn't know. For example, how to legally take over any existing loan without title alienation, in other words, without violating the due on sale clause. And that's regarding the 1982 Garn St. Germain. So we're pretty isolated in that area. There's just not too many people who know how to do that, but we do. So come to us, let us teach you how to do things you've never been able to do before. Another one, how to take over any existing loan without a violation of owner financing restrictions. And that's, in reference to the Dodd-Frank Consumer Financing Act of 2014. So we don't have to worry about Garn St. Germain. We don't have to worry about Dodd-Frank, because what we do is unique, and those laws and those pieces of legislation don't affect us. How to convert ownership of real estate or realty into ownership of personalty, in order to access someone else's income tax benefits in all incidents of real estate ownership. Now that's pretty incredible when you stop to think about it. I mean, we, with our systems and programs and so forth, we can take somebody else's tax write-off. I mean, how can you do that? Who else can do that? Who else can go in and say, put a property, put my name on a deed and stuff, and I'm going to take the tax write-off for your mortgage loan? You can't do that. I mean, and if you do, you put somebody else's name on the deed, and they commit to you for the mortgage loan and all that. You could do it, but you're taking a really big chance because you're giving them the property. Now what do you do when they don't pay? You can't evict them. You have to go through gigantic foreclosure and unlawful detainer actions and quiet title actions and all kinds of crap. We don't have to do that. With our program, we can take all the incidents of real estate ownership, including income tax benefits and everything else, and not have to deal with the concept of realty. With real estate transfer, you've got to comply with Dodd-Frank, you've got to comply with the Garn St. Germain Act, you've got to comply with the HOPA, Homeowners Equity Protection Act, you got to comply with TILA, Truth in Lending Act, and you got to comply with FCRA, that's Fair Credit Reporting Act, and on and on and on. So wouldn't it be easier if when you go in to buy or sell or manage or live in a house, that you just snap your fingers and turn that house into a piece of personal property? Now all of a sudden, HOPA, TILA, RESPA, the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act and the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Garn St. Germain Act and the Dodd-Frank, none of that applies anymore, because you just magically waved a magic wand and turned the real estate into personal estate. Now, I think that's about as cool as you can possibly get. But there are a lot of people who don't get it, who have paid big money to learn about it and are not really making any money on it. I apologize. No, I feel like I should have to apologize for the fact that we have so many people who paid me so much money to take the training that I offer and who haven't made a lot of money, or in some cases any money. But I'm not going to apologize because it's not my fault. It's anyone who has applied themselves and tried and put out the effort and had a burning desire to achieve has, 100%. But let's go on to the next one. And we're going to do all of this without any risk of compromising a single governmental regulation. Now that's very, very powerful stuff. We're going to teach you how to make big money on over-encumbered properties while leaving the current financing in place and letting someone else handle all the payments and the maintenance and the repair and the upkeep. We're going to teach you how to provide mortgage interest tax write-off to a lease tenant in trade for greatly enhanced rental income. How many people know how to lease a property to somebody and say, hey, you can take my income tax write-off for my mortgage interest and my property tax payments? You don't know anybody unless they know us. Nobody does that. Nobody knows how to do that. And the people who know something about land trusts, and there's dozens and dozens of people out there right now who are doing land trusts and charging money to people to do land trusts and even giving seminars on land trusts. And it's amazing how many times I see my own verbiage and my own articles and so forth appearing on other people's websites. But even at that, they still cannot do what we can do. They don't have the ability or the facility to create a trustee with a separate collection service that doesn't charge a fee. They don't know that the trustee has to charge a fee commensurate with industry standards, and that the client could end up in a gigantic lawsuit with untold amounts of money flushed down the toilet if they don't do what we do. But there are people taking the chance and so forth. But we know what we're doing, and you don't have to take any chances. So let's take a look at this next one, the next slide. We're going to teach you how to permanently shield any property from lawsuits and creditor judgments. Now think about that. Who do you know that knows how to put something on that property that will shield it from lawsuits, liens, creditor judgments, IRS tax liens, marital disputes, death, dying, probate actions, ancillary administration, and everything else? You don't know anybody can do that unless you know me or somebody knows one of you. So that's pretty cool. How to make money where others just, that's what we're going to show you how to do. How to make money where others just don't know how. And that's the truth. How to very inexpensively clear and restore your or friend's client credit. Now we're going to throw that in as a bonus, because you guys know that if you do set somebody up with FES, there's a way you can make some pretty good commissions on that. I think it's $286 for somebody to clear the credit, and if you want to become an agent of FES, just go to my website. I think it's United Credit /Gatton or something. And if you don't have that, email me and I'll give it to you, and I can get some credit for it, and you can get some credit for it. So how to very inexpensively clear and restore your friends or clients' credit. The next one, come on, next one. Here we go. How to provide identity theft protection and free life insurance for you and your client. That's part of FES as well. Now, I don't know if I'm going to include this in the finished slide, because I only want it to be about 8 or 10 minutes right now, and I want you guys to be able to put this on your website, on your replicated website, so that you can attract the people the same way we're attracting the people and so forth. But I may have another presentation that includes this, or I might leave it in here. Here's a few comforting facts. Very interesting. The national unemployment rate is now about 8%. California still ranks highest in unemployment, highest in the country. I think it's probably at about 9.9 or 8% right now. In Nevada, where we are right now, it's about 9.5%, and that's down from 9.6, and it's dropping little by little, because there are some pretty big construction projects going on here and so on. So here's the deal. Try to absorb this information just for trivial purposes. Most Americans today have less than $25,000 to retire on. It's not good. 34% of Americans have no savings at all, and that's not good, for them anyway. 58% of Americans have no retirement plan of any kind, which is not good, for them anyway. 40% don't even know what the words annuity or mutual funds mean, and that obviously isn't any good for them. 20% of Americans are planning to live purely on Social Security, and the government right now is trying everything they can to figure out how not to have to take it away. And I just kind of have an idea they're going to take it away. So these folks can't buy a home anymore. Now think about that. How many is that? 58% in one case, 34, 40, and 20. So what that means is that of the entire population, how many of them out there right now cannot buy a house? How many of those people, and there's a lot more than just these, how many don't have enough money for a down payment to get a 40% debt-to-income ratio loan? How many can't make not only the down payment, but they don't have the perfect credit to be able to get a loan under the Dodd-Frank Act? And how many of these people could possibly do okay with a seller financed arrangement if they could do it? But Dodd-Frank says you can't do that. Owner carry, no more owner carry. and so forth. However, think about the position you're in if you know exactly how to do that. And that's where we are. Here's some more facts for you. The U.S. per capita income, $13.5 trillion. That's 100% of all the money that all Americans make in a year. $13 trillion. However, we're going to see some other figures like gross national product. I take that back. I said it's all they make. The gross national product is $16 trillion. The national debt right now is $17 trillion plus. The average American real estate agent's annual income is about $15,000. That's average. There's a bunch of them don't make any money, and a few of them make quite a bit. But the average real estate investor, now, the active real estate investor, is making $65,000. So if you have to choose between being a real estate investor and a licensed realtor, you might look at those two numbers. Here's some more for you. That's very interesting. Take a guess at this. 4,000 cubic foot capacity, 53-foot long semi-truck trailer would be approximately how full if it were loaded with $1 trillion in $100 bills. It's $1 trillion all in $100 bills. Now, would that truck be half full? Would it be 3/4 full? Or would it be completely full all the way to the ceiling, or something else? I wish I could have you guys jump in and give me some potential answers, but we're not set up for that right now. I wish you could guess at it, because here's the deal. There is a $100 bill. Okay, it doesn't take up much space or anything else. It's just a little piece of paper. Here is 100 of them. That's $10,000. 100 $100 bills comes out to $10,000. And it's a nice carryable little packet that you can hold in your hand and stick in your pocket, and it feel kind of warm and cozy if you stuck it in my pocket. Now, here is $1 million. Now look at the guy. This is going to be important. Notice his height, his size relative to a stack of $1 million. That's not a big stack. Now again, I'm going to ask you, if you had a 40-foot long trailer on a big semi-diesel truck, and it could hold 4,000 cubic feet of bills, is it going to be full, half full, a quarter full, or what? Let's go on one more step now. Here is $100 million. Now notice the guy's height relative to the height of that stack. And then right below that is $1 billion. As you can see, there are, 8 different stacks of 100 million. That comes out to $1 billion. Okay? Now let's take a look at this next one. That's $1 billion. There is $1 trillion. Look at the guy. There's 2 high stacks. Okay, go back here. Let's take those stacks right now. They're half as high as the guy. Now over here, we're going to stack them on top of each other, and we're going to spread them out for just about forever in all directions. And there's the guy. It's $1 trillion. Now, we haven't even talked about that truck yet. Take a look at the truck. Here's the truck. So could you get $1 trillion in that truck? No. You're going to have lots of trucks to transport $1 trillion. So that's the guy in $1 trillion. However, here is the national debt. 17 of these. Look at that guy. Now, if we could put all of those together, obviously you wouldn't see the guy or the truck. They would be minuscule and absolutely microscopic in terms of what $17 trillion is like. Now, that's interesting, but why would I be talking? Here's some of the trucks that you might need in order to transport, and that wouldn't even be near enough. But why would I mention all this? What difference does it make? I mean, obviously the country sucks right now financially and socially and everything else. in some people's minds anyway, not me. I think everything is just beautiful and wonderful. I was telling Jim Banks a little while ago that as long as I wake up in the morning and I have to look down to see dirt, I'm happy. But because of the mess in the mortgage that the government and the mortgage industry have put us in, there are now thousands upon thousands of income-producing homes within 50 miles of where you're sitting, waiting for you to take them for free when you know how. Now, you can go out and you can pay the money to join the flipping group company and all that and get some excellent training. And if you've got the cash, they will definitely put you in a position to be able to flip some properties and make some money. If you've got cash, that's a good way to double and triple and quadruple it over time if you handle it properly. But our legacy is kind of dealing with the other people in the real estate investing business. And those other people are people like me. When I got involved in this business, I did extremely well, made millions, as a matter of fact, but I started off with nothing. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any credit. Didn't even have any experience. All I had was an infomercial that I recorded on equity sharing. And it sounded like a good idea, and I decided, by golly, that's what I'm going to do. And all of a sudden, before you knew it, I had properties coming out in my gazinga because this little hour-long infomercial showed me basically how to do it. I called people and said, hey, you got a house? You don't want it? I want it. I'll take over the payments, and if you just walk away. And I was amazed at how many people would do that. Well, it's no different now. As a matter of fact, it's better now than it was then. So they'll give them for you, give these properties to you for free when you know how. Happily, you and I are not married to any of these depressing financial statistics. We merely need to take a brief time, and I've said this too many times, and you guys have got to memorize by now. We need to take a brief time to learn to do what others won't do in order to be able to charge them for a lifetime for what they can't do. Don't ever forget that. I mean, that's one of the most important little things I've ever heard. So, let's get real serious. And ordinary folks like you and me really acquire real estate and permanent wealth without a bank loan and without credit, without down payment, without maintenance and management costs, without monthly payments, when we're flat broke. No, we can't. Of course not. It's absolutely insane. Well, you're crazy. It's all a giant, bogus pipe dream. Well, here's the thing. For whatever it might be worth, here's a few of my own bogus pipe dreams just to show you what can be done without cash and with rotten credit. Now, bear in mind, when you can ignore the detractors, that means break through the wall of doubt that you build around yourself and have someone who cares enough about your welfare, that's me, by the way, to guide you in the process, or well, obviously, I forgot who I'm talking to. It's you. You are our marketing affiliate, so make sure that you know that. To guide you in the process, here's some properties that I picked up with no money out of pocket, no credit, and no experience or anything else. I lived in this one for a while, and I lived in this one for a long time till the Northridge earthquake hit and moved into this one, and so on. But some of these properties that I've owned were really nice properties, anywhere from $120,000 on up to $1.5 million and so on. Here's one that was $120,000, and I think we sold it for $290,000 because here's something you better not even ever forget, because we were in a situation just like we are right now. The people in the property were stressed out. Just a manufactured home sitting on 5 acres of palm trees, I think it was. But the thing is, they were stressed out. They were tickled to death when I came along, and I didn't argue with them about the price. And I just put somebody else in to handle all the payments and handle all the maintenance and everything else. And we turned around and sold it a couple of years later for $290,000. Here's a property that I got for $520,000, and went up and I borrowed on it when it was worth $1.2 million. Here's another one that we got for $600,000. I didn't pay any money, but that's what it was worth at the time. It had a $670,000 loan on it, and we sold it for about $1 million, I think. $950,000 is what we sold it for. Here's one in Pagosa Springs, California, $220,000 with a $190,000 loan. I didn't make any money on this, and I spent $5,000 to fix it up. And I turned around and let the guy cancel our contract because he called me and he had terminal cancer, and the doctor told him he might not live for more than another month or so. And I didn't feel like holding his nose to the grindstone on that, and I was glad that it only cost me $5,000. I would not have traded places with him for anything. But that's the idea. It was a $220,000 house I got for $190,000. And if I'd have just kept on, and I could have forced the issue. We had a contract, but I didn't. But think of the money I would have made. Pagosa Springs, Colorado, $220,000. You know, in that area right now is going up. At the time, the $220,000 value would have, over the next couple of years, dropped down to about $150,000 probably. It's now back up to $250,000 or $60,000. I didn't take it, but I would probably have just used it for a vacation home. Beautiful house. Here's one in Laurel Canyon in North Hollywood. Valued at $260,000 with a loan on $240,000. We collected about $600, $800 a month positive cash flow for many years, and didn't cost me a dime out of pocket. Borrowed money on it when it got up to about $680,000. Let's see, what was it? Yeah, it went up to about $680,000. We borrowed 80% of $600,000 on, stuck it in our pocket, and then when the real estate recession came along, I don't even know if it happened or not, but I'm presuming that the bank took it back because I didn't want it anymore. I got all the money stuck in my pocket, and at a particular point in time, my tenant stopped paying, who was also my attorney at the time. I didn't lose anything. The loan wasn't in my name, and yes, it was. The refinance was my name. But when the tenant stopped, I just let it go and said, the hell with it. The house is now dropping, and I don't want to mess with it, so I just let it go back to the bank. And that was a couple of years ago. It didn't cost me anything. And all of the real estate that we lost during the recession, you know, I had about I think $3 to $4 million in real estate equity. I could have, liquidated at any time and sold the properties and put $3 or $4 million in my pocket without any trouble at all. But the fact is, we lost a bunch of that because of the real estate recession. But how much did it cost me? Not a single penny, because the loans were not in my name, for one thing. I hadn't spent any money on them, and the ones that I did spend a little bit on, I got more than I spent back from the resident beneficiary when I put them in, and so on. So this is the way to live. This is the way to operate if you want to be in this business. Here are some other properties around the country that I owned during that time. Albuquerque and San Antonio and Dallas and New York and Buffalo and Rochester, New York, and also Rochester, Minnesota, Tucson, Arizona, on and on and on. Aurora, Colorado. So the question is, what I'm saying to you right now is either full of baloney. I'm either full of baloney, it's a bunch of crap, or it's safe and legal and ethical and profitable, tested and effective, and it's true. So you make the decision. Am I telling you something that's not true? Has the documentation that I've shown you been bogus? Is it not true? Have I been lying to anybody about this? And if I'm not, and if it is true, then what I'm telling you is a $1 million moneymaker for you. What on earth would stop somebody from going out and picking up these properties that nobody else wants and have no idea how to handle them when we do? If you find one and you don't want it, call me. I'll take it. Okay, to whom have you turned the job of discouraging you over to? Your well-meaning family and friends? Your sour grapes acquaintances who've taken it upon themselves to denounce and denigrate anything they don't understand? Has it been your short-sighted co-workers who find it necessary to protect themselves against anyone's surpassing their own unrealized ambitions? Is it the know-it-all lawyers, and boy, are there a bunch of those out there, the realtors, mortgage reps, and minimum wage brother-in-laws who are discouraging you and telling you that you can't do this and it won't work and you can't make money if you don't have money and that doesn't work? Or is it the boneheaded, procrastinating pessimist that comes by every day to brush your teeth and tie your shoes? After all, who else now to stop the sharing process here and let you guys comment if you want to. If anybody has a comment to make, a question to ask, or a suggestion of any kind, now's the time. All you got to do is hit your little red flag there on the column on the left-hand side, and I'll see your flag, and I'll come on. Or you can type your question in the meeting chat. And the first comment that I would like to have would probably come from Rodney. And Rodney, what I'd like you to comment on is say, God, Bill, this is an incredible meeting. Wow, you are really fantastic. Woo, woo, woo. So if we don't get that, then I'll presume it's something else. As you can see, I'm kind of charged up here. I had a cup of coffee a little while ago, and I'm talking fast in a higher pitched voice than normal. But the reason for that is, honest to goodness, guys, I really am excited about what we do. It's a wonderful world to be in. We've just solved so many problems with our program, and it made real abundance so available for our people that I don't get tired of talking about it ever. It's a nice way to go. What I do get tired of talking about is how few people are actually jumping on it and taking advantage of it. We've got probably 10 to 12,000 people over the years who've joined the network and took the training and didn't do a damn thing. Out of the 10,000 people, we probably have 2,000 who've actually gone in and made some money, put a deal together. And out of the 2,000, we probably have 200 who've done it more than once. And out of the 200, we probably have 10% of those who do it on a regular basis. And that 10% includes people like Gary Brackman and Peter Michaels and Brad Ehlers and that young lady whose name I can't think of right now, and people in New York that we deal with, Lori Wilson, and on and on. We've got a lot of those people, that 200 people, who've really, really done well. But out of the 200, the millionaires are probably 10% of that. Scott Moyes is one, for example, and on and on. So if you go on our website, check us out, you'll see kind of everything else we have, and if anything is on our website that's not on yours, you just need to let me know. So right now I'm going to open up everybody's phone and see if there's too much static. If we don't have that many people on it, it looks like we got about 15, 20. So let's see what we can do here. I'll open up everybody. Unmute all. Now, everybody's open. If you have a comment, this would be a good time. Don't have to do anything special. And since you don't have any comments, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. One thing I want to remind everyone of is this Saturday, the 17th, not the 19th, but the 17th, this Saturday, Omar Perriou is going to be on 9 a.m. And he's a dear friend of mine, and also probably, in my opinion, the nation's #1 real motivator. He's the motivator of the motivators, and he's got some pretty high list students on his student list, like Gerald Ford and other major baseball players and football players, and on and on and on. And, he's somebody that you don't want to miss. He's an excellent guy. He's an excellent speaker, and he's really motivated. So we'll see you guys there. And I don't know. He's got a product that he'll sell, but I do know that it's a $3,000 product, and I told him that if he's going to try to sell anything on our website, it would have to be under $800. So we'll see what he does with that. It might even be less than that. So Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, same ding-dong that you dialed into this evening. Same number, same PIN code, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Saturday morning. And I don't see, let's see, is there a roster of members with location? Lee Waldo says, is there a roster of members? Yeah, if you're a network member, you can go on our website, and we'll show you how to get to the member section. Sure. It's got email addresses and phone numbers and all kinds of things. but you got to be a network member to do that.
Sure.
And make sure that
Yes, please.
if there's anybody on the call, and I doubt it right now, but if you're on the call and you're not already an affiliate,
In the fridge. Oh, it's probably frozen.
be sure and do that, because we got some really, really hot stuff coming up.
I heard it was 104 out in Fullerton.
194 what? You heard it was 100 and what? Okay, so Andrew, Lawrence, Lee, Linda, Rodney, Stephen, Tanya, and the rest of you guys, thanks for joining or us. And we'll see you guys all next Thursday. But tomorrow morning, it's 9 o'clock. Tomorrow morning, do not forget. And we'll see you then. Say bye now, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, we got 2 more conversations. Thanks, guys. Take care, and we'll see you soon. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Come on, I gotta turn this off. Hold on.
He was hearing it. Goodness, it was 104. Well, they're in Vegas, so it has to be at least that over there. Off we go.